Hello and welcome to my journey of exploring fluid acrylic techniques. Here is part one of a waves series brought to you with 3 different versions of waves that I experimented with over the last several weeks.
Hey friends, welcome to my channel. I'm Stephanie. I'm with Earth, Wind, and Fire Creations. Today in my video, what I want to demonstrate for you is how I try to create an abstract wave crashing into a beach sort of setting. The goal is to kind of bring an earthy tone to the base here with kind of like a layer of sand, and I employ the SheleeArt technique throughout several of these paintings with a swipe technique or like a deconstructed type blooms, if you will, to kind of get the look and the feel, texture, and the movement that I want in these pieces. I use my own creativity to kind of take it from there and branch off into what my vision is for these. So I'm gonna just start with talking about a couple of these paintings. This one here, as far as the construct and the flow of this piece, I thought turned out really well. You'll notice obviously I use mostly all the golds in this piece, but what I really wanted in all of these pieces was this nice linear wave that's coming in, and this was done using a swipe technique. Once that wave hits the so-called quote-unquote beach or earthy area, I want it to have the appearance of a crashing wave through here, so I used sort of a linear bloom through here. And then here I used swipe technique as well to create kind of a pebbly sand looking appearance. So that's that one. This one I think is a perfect example of what I'm searching for in the abstract sort of wave technique as far as the structure. Moving on to this piece. I had to get a little creative on this piece because the wave was not going how I wanted it to, but I'm really pleased with how it turned out. I had too much sort of paint on this canvas, I think, when I was moving the paint, and so I definitely have the wave coming in here and the deconstructed bloom through here to create the crashing wave appearance, and then your sandy beach over here. What was different and unique about this piece is I came back through with pillow after I created the wave up here, and I got sort of a white sky appearance, but you'll see the trailings off of kind of blue, which almost looks like kind of water splashing back up, which was a very sort of surprise. It was a surprise to me that that happened, but I was very pleased on how it turned out. Different sort of wave, and none of these, mind you, are going to be perfect because you're working obviously with the fluid acrylic, so things tend to take off on you sometimes, and you just have to do the best with what you've got. So moving over to this piece, it's very similar to this piece here in that I have the wave coming in. My wave kind of took a little bit of a swirl here when I was trying to tilt the paint, and that's one of those things that you don't always have control over depending on how much paint you have on your canvas, whether you're using canvas versus like plywood or MDF or some other type of canvas. The paint is going to move differently, so you want to make sure that you have adequate and sort of equal amount of paint across your canvas when you're trying to move the paint. And I'll say that with the caveat is you always want to have paint in the areas where you're trying to move it, and you want to have an equal distribution sort of throughout if you're doing this sort of swipe, so that the movement all moves together. It's quite challenging to do. So again, I've got the wave coming in, I've got the crashy and the pebbly sand down here. So overall I was pleased with this piece. I tried something different in that I did some of these swirl techniques through. I'm not sure if I'm totally pleased with that, but overall I'm pretty happy with how this piece turned out. I have a couple more in the works, but stay tuned for the videos on these 3 pieces, and I will try to give you some tips and tricks that I've learned through the years of doing these techniques. And if you have any questions, please feel free to shoot me a message, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you like what you see, and that'll help me to bring you more. Thanks, stay tuned. All right, so what I've got going on here, we're setting up with a 10 by 20 inch Artist Loft canvas. It's already taped and prepped on the back. I carefully taped the side with painter's tape. I really like the green tape. It gives me a nice clean cut at the end. I weave this tape on all the way through the resin process and then remove it with heat to get a nice clean finish. And then I throw down a cheaper masking tape here just to protect the inside of the canvas from any paint or fingerprints or marks that I could have. So that's our canvas that we're working with today. The paints that we're going to start with, and you can see below for my pouring meeting combination, but the colors are a burnt sienna, yellow ochre, and a transparent yellow iron oxide with a little bit of sparkle, and an iridescent gold that is semi-transparent. These first two ones, I believe, are also semi-transparent. I didn't put the little marks on it like I've started doing recently, so I can't remember for sure, but working with them over the past couple days, they really seem semi-transparent to me. If I went out and dug back the paints from the original canister, that's what I probably find, but if really somebody is really dying to know, I'll go look up for you later. And then the pillow paint that I'm going to use today is the PPG Multi-Pro Interior Paint. That's that. I usually put it in a few of these cups just so that I have some working pillow to go with. Those are just some extra paints on the side. I've got my little makeup spoons that I'll mix up my paints with here in a minute. And then I have my cell activator, which is the SheleeArt formula, which you can find on her website and in her class and program. And then I have a few different utensils that I'm going to use today. Palette knives, and then this is actually a cake frosting knife. And then this is one of my favorite tools that I've adopted over the years. I started with a spackle tool and progressed to this because you get a nice long edge that I can do fewer swipes with. I had one that was about this wide, and of course you can imagine it takes a little bit more, a few more swipes to get it all down, but I really like this edge. It allows me to grab the paint and pull it, and you get some nice lines with your cells and lacing as it goes through. So that's one. Don't usually use this other side, at least I haven't had great luck with it or desired results. And those are all my ingredients thus far, supplies, and I'll pause there, and I'm just going to go ahead and cover the base with the pillow, and then we'll get started. Go down and lay down my paint here. I'm going to start with the transparent yellow iron oxide, and what I'm going for with this picture is ultimately the idea is to have a sandy beach here. So kind of a pebbly looking area on this side, and then this will be of course where a wave would crash, and then the wave is coming, or the water is coming in this way, if you will. So here we go with my idea. We'll see if it works. I am also have done something like this obviously before, but I'm kind of trying to perfect it a little bit. And even though this might seem like a large scale, I'm going bigger with the next one, so why not just work out a little bit before I get going. So this gold color here, I'm actually going to bring down with some cell activator. And since I semi know what I'm doing, gotta kind of actually work quickly, which might seem like I'm not doing, but I'm gonna need a bigger spatula. So let's go with this guy. to wipe that off really good in between each swipe because you don't want to carry paint, your pillow paint, into your next swipe unless that's something you're intending to do, but I'm not. So a good wipe in between. And yes, you can have too much cell activator, so I do dab it off. So this is a good area here. I want to make sure I catch this next little bit here, but there's cell activator there left over, so I'm actually going to grab it and pull again. And then I'm just going to keep doing this all the way down the beach here. So for areas where you have more cell activator there, I'm not going to worry about that because it's all going to work its way out eventually here. But I have enough on there that I could probably pull and kind of come down this way, so we'll see what happens. It's a nice kind of buttery gold color. I really love this color. Okay, so there's my beach. Like I said, working quickly or not so quickly. Putting down more color because now I'm going to blow and then swipe. So I want to make sure I have enough to go the distance here for both of those techniques. These are some beautiful colors that work well together. Just did some practice tiles yesterday and they're just rich and gold. Reminds me of honey and chocolate and all sorts of yummy stuff. Okay, this guy's coming on top. This is a little bit of iridescent in it. Just gives it a lovely shimmer on the top. I am going to come back with some of that burnt sienna just so I get some layered cells in here. We'll see. Okay. So the blow. Instead of putting the cell activator down and doing it all in one fell swoop, I'm going to do sections at a time. And I'm going to start on this side of the paint and blow, I guess, straight down is what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to try to leave a lip of paint here so that I can pull it and swipe it that way. So this is the SheleeArt bloom technique. For those of you that don't know, for those of you that do, you'll be familiar. I'm not trying to get perfect blooms, by the way. So if you're looking at me going, what is she doing? I'm not trying to get perfect blooms here. I don't want to lose all of my beach, so I might start blowing a little bit the other direction here. I'm gonna stretch this one out a little bit more. Do another bit of a stretch here. And then one last one there on the end. Okay, so a little bit of crashy going on here. You can see I have a lot of cell activator left over. I'm gonna give that a second. But then my next move is to actually grab the edge of these and start to pull it out this way to get my next technique. And I can come back and do more blooming in here later, but I wanted to at least get that movement started, if that makes any sense. Okay, so I'm gonna grab this nice tool. This is where like the long waves come in, and I am gonna throw more cell activator on here. And the way I do this is just with my little popsicle stick here. And then my finger. So yeah, hopefully you get the point there. I'm gonna start in the middle, and the wave, I want it to go this way. So I'm gonna grab the edge of these just at a slight 45-degree angle or so, and I'm gonna try to go pretty straight. And just like the other tools that I use, nice clean wipe in between so that you don't carry paint, transpose paint onto the next part of your movement here. So this is why I like this tool. As you can see, you got all these beautiful lines going on. So I guess you could, and having done this before, and it's been a couple years, I cannot remember if I did this long bloom line first or if I pulled first. So I'm just improvising and trying some different things today to see what I'm going to go with next. Actually, I only need about that much of it, so just take the rest of that right back off there. My pile of rags over here. And I can always come back and do more. I want to try to stay in line with the previous one, at least in the beginning, so they line up. And after you start going an inch or two, it doesn't matter if it kind of bows out. This is going to stretch that way, and it's going to stretch this way. I am still going to do this little bit down here in case any of it does remain on the canvas. I'm going to grab right in there. Again, trying to line up with that line that's there. And where I get these little divots, whatever you want to call them, divots, is because the pillow is not even at this end, which I don't care because I really wanted it all concentrated in here. So I'm going to start to move the paint, I think. Maybe before I do that, I'll just do a couple blows on where I've got some of this extra cell activator.
The end of this last video cut off a bit short. I took the canvas over to the spinner and spun out the techniques to stretch the paint a little bit. But here you can see the final product, and please feel free to comment below if you have any questions. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and hopefully we'll see you in the next video. Stay tuned.